My dear students, today I would like to discuss a poem by William Wordsworth. The name of the poem is Composed upon Westminster Bridge, September 3, 1802. So, right from the title of the poem, we come to know the name of the poem as well as the year of the composition. The full title of the poem is Composed. So, a few lines have been composed upon the place, the Westminster Bridge, September. So, the poem was written on 3rd September 1802. It's a sonnet written by William Wordsworth. You know, William Wordsworth is one of the outstanding romantic poets of the Great Britain. William Wordsworth and S.T. Coleridge were known as the two leading first generation romantic poets. There are other romantic poets, P.B. Shelley, John Keats and Lord Byron. So you need to remember that William Wordsworth was born in the year 1770 and died in the year 1850. So in the long career of his lifespan, the poet wrote many poems, and the types of the poems that we can categorize as the odes and the sonnets. You know, odes and sonnets are the two varieties of the lyrical poetry. What is lyric? Lyric is a type of poem in which the poet expresses his personal thoughts and feelings. So ode, we can remember that Immortality Ode and Tintern Abbey are the two famous poems written by William Wordsworth. Today I will confine my discussion to a sonnet composed upon a Westminster Bridge. That is a sonnet. You need to remember there are several forms of sonnet: Shakespearean sonnet, Petrarchan sonnet. So it is obviously a Petrarchan sonnet. Why? Because here stanza divisions are clear that in this poem Octave, and the last 6 lines can be described as a system. So Octave is a poem of 8 lines. Lines are in the arranged, maintaining a beautiful rhyme scheme. What is rhyme scheme? Rhymes are the lines are rhyming words as the following scheme: ABBA, ABBA, CD, CD, CD. So in the octave part, let us come to the text. Earth has not anything to show more fair. Dull would be he of soul who could pass by, a sight so touching in its majesty. The city now tucked like a garment wear. So I am talking about the rhyme scheme of the poem. So here, if I can describe the rhyming word as fair as A, then you see B. So this is B, and fair and majesty. So this is alive. The rhyme is almost the same. So here I write B and where. So fair rhymes with where, by rhymes with majesty, Y. Here A. So this is the rhyming pattern of the first 4 lines of the octave of the poem. Now let us come to the thematic discussion. So here let us come to read the poem following your textbook. Earth has not anything to show more fair. Earth means obviously the world. Earth has not anything to show more fair. So the poet here celebrates the city of London. London, that is clear from the title, Westminster Bridge. And in the beauty of the morning light, the poet celebrates the beauty of the morning in the city of London. And the poet makes an exaggerated statement that nothing is more beautiful than the scenic beauty of morning in the city of London. So this is called hyperbole. Hyperbole is a figure of speech. So right from the opening line, the poet has used a hyperbolic expression. He said that earth has not anything to show more fair as the fair of the London city. Dull would be he of soul who could pass by. So dull means indifferent. That people who are indifferent to the scenic beauty of the morning light at London, that he would be dull or unaffected by the beauty of such a scenic scenery. The soul who could pass by means ignore. That people who won't pay any heed to the beauty of nature. So you should remember that London, though this is the scene of a city, that the poet here depicts the city of London in the as if the city seems to be the part of nature. So the landscape here, though the landscape of nature can be depicted in the city light. Now a sight means a scene. What is the sight is? The sight stands for the scenic beauty of the city London in the early morning. So touching. So the scene seems to be moving, that can move to earth in its majesty. The majesty of the London city. Majesty means the splendor of the scene. This city. Now you need to notice the spelling city, C-I-T-Y, but C is in the upper case, that is in the capital letter. So obviously the city refers to London. Now that like a garment wear. So this line is very important from the figurative style. What is the figure used in the line? Particularly, you need to remember that the C is in the upper case. So obviously this city has been personified. So personification is a figure of speech in which the inanimate object or the element of nature, part of nature, can be attributed as if a human being. So here city seems to wear a garment wear. So city is regarded as a human being that can put on the garment. So like is also another linker that can be used in another figure of speech, that is simile. What is simile? Simile is a figure of speech in which the two things of dissimilar qualities can be compared with the help of a linker. Here like has been used as a linker in the poem. So here you see the city and garment wear. So city seems to wear garment, and this is the moving, touching scene that can move to the passers-by or any other onlookers in this time, particularly in the early morning. The poet is moved by this scene and he celebrates the city of London in the early morning. This is the subject matter of the poem. So now let us come to the next stanza, discuss the next 4 lines of the opening octave. I told you that octave is a stanza of 8 lines. So after the discussion of the first 4 lines, now let us come to discuss the next 4 lines. So structurally speaking, the lines rhyme as A, B, B, A. So first line rhymes with the fourth line, second line rhymes with the third line. And that is why the rhyme scheme is A, B, B, A, B, B, A. This is all about the rhyme scheme of the octave part. So the line number, here you see that the 4 lines of the octave part. So this is probably line number 5. Now let us read the lines. The beauty of the morning, silent, bare, ships, towers, doomed theatres, and temples lie, open unto the fields and to the sky, all bright and glittering in the smokeless air. So now try to understand the subject matter of these lines. You know, beauty of the morning, that the poet here depicts the London city in the beauty of the early morning, and that is why the atmosphere seems to be silent and bare. Why silent? All the houses, all the people of the houses seem to be asleep, and there is no noise of vehicles, no chattering, no gathering of the market people, market going people, and that's why at the very early morning the city seems to be silent and bare. Now you notice that the open fields and to the sky and the smokeless air. So the smokeless air and the fogless air make the atmosphere very tranquil as well as bare. So as there is no cloud, as there is no smoke, fog, and that's why the atmosphere seems to be bare. The scene of London city at the very early morning seems to be tranquil as well as silent, calm and bare. Ships, towers, domes, theatres and temples lie. So here you see there are the 5 highlights of the city: ships, towers, domes, theatres and temples. These are the human-made architectural designs, architectural structures of the civilizations. You know that these are the highlights of the town, and these highlights are contrasted with the natural elements of nature that you see that open unto the fields, sky and air. So these are the 3 dimensions of nature, the elements of nature. What are the elements of nature? Rock, hill and valley, fields, sky, air, river. These are the elements of nature. Now it is interesting to note that the poet here celebrates the beauty of nature in the natural surrounding of, in the city surrounding of London. So as if the poet describes the natural surrounding, natural landscape, although he describes the city of London in the early morning light. So open unto the fields and to the sky, all bright and glittering. So as the sunbeams inundated the houses and the 5 highlights of the city, and the scene seems to be bright, the scene seems to be dazzling in the morning light and glittering in the smokeless air, and the air is silent, smokeless and bare. So the topic is that what does the poem celebrate? The poem celebrates the city of London in the morning, and the city seems to be wearing a garment. So here we also find some figures of speech that, you know, the repetition of the letter in towers, theatres and temples. So an alliteration is outstanding figure of speech in the line. What is alliteration? Alliteration is the repetition of the same letter or sound in the quick succession in a line. So here we see that in the 4 or 5 words we see the same letter T has been repeated in quick succession in this line. Open unto the fields and to the sky, all bright and glittering in the smokeless air. So here the poet describes the 3 dimensions of nature: fields, sky and air. So here this is all about the first following 4 lines of the octave. Now let us come to the next part of the poem, that is the next 6 lines known as the system. After the discussion of the octave part, that is the first 8 lines of the poem, I would like to conclude my discussion, and my discussion will follow the next class. But before the closure of the class, I would like to give you an assignment. In the assignment, you see a few multiple choice questions, and you will try to recapitulate my lesson today, and you will try out your best to answer the following multiple choice questions as well as some descriptive type questions. Thank you.